Cass. Desperate for a roof over their heads, they turned up at Cass's Los Angeles home, and she made them an offer they couldn't refuse. When the new journeyman showed up on Cass's doorstep, she saw an opportunity to finally get what she wanted. Reportedly, Cass took advantage of the group's dire situation. Whether he liked her size or not, John Phillips had to agree to let Cass into the band or sleep on the streets. But there's another version of the story of how Cass came to be in the band. For years, the official story was that it was fate, and not poor money management, that brought Cass and the new journeyman together. According to this version of events, Cass had accompanied the new journeyman on a trip to St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands. While there, she was walking under a construction site when a pipe fell on her head. Cass was knocked off her feet, and the supposed head injury unbelievably caused her to sing in the higher register that John Phillips had been looking for. The crazy pipe to the head story was likely just Cass's way of covering up the embarrassing truth. Decades later, sources close to the band revealed that John Phillips didn't want it leaking out to their fans that he had essentially fat-shamed Cass out of joining. Whatever the truth, Cass was finally in the band. After some late-night inspiration, they renamed themselves the Mamas and the Papas. Then the good times started to roll. With Cass's vocals, the band recorded huge hits like California Dreamin' and Monday Monday. But even though she was in the band, the teasing about her weight didn't stop. In fact, it got worse. John and Michelle Phillips, along with Doherty, openly mocked Cass's weight in the lyrics of their songs. For example, in the band's hit song Creek Alley, they wrote the lyrics, "No one's getting fat except Mama Cass." The insulting lyrics struck a chord with their fans, and much to Cass's dismay, the nickname Mama Cass stuck. Then one of her bandmates crossed a line. Cass had really only joined the Mamas and the Papas because of her unrequited love for Doherty. Sadly, while Cass had been pining over him, he'd been lusting over someone else. In fact, the object of her affection had started up an affair with the object of her jealousy, Michelle Phillips. When Doherty told her that he was having an affair with Phillips, Cass was left utterly heartbroken and full of envious rage. The betrayal left her crestfallen. She lamented to Phillips, "You can have any man in the world. Why take the one man I love?" Even after Doherty had told Cass about the affair, she still held out hope that one day he might grow to love her. Decades later, Doherty revealed that Cass had proposed to him one night, but that he hadn't answered because he'd been too intoxicated. She buried her woes with the Mamas and the Papas into her music, and a dangerous amount and array of substances, which led to some wild behaviour. In 1967, Cass travelled to London ahead of her bandmates for a scheduled performance, but before long she found herself on the wrong side of the law. The local London authorities detained Cass for having pilfered bed linens from the apartment she was staying in. There were rumours, however, that they really wanted her for something far more serious. One of Cass's many alleged lovers was a man named Pick Dawson, but she wasn't the only one interested in Dawson. So were the local authorities. In addition to possibly being Cass's lover, he was also her supplier. The authorities in London wanted to use the accusations against Cass in order to get to Dawson. She spent a whole night behind bars in London, possibly facing serious charges. However, after she appeared before the magistrate, the authorities dropped the charges against her for lack of evidence. Nevertheless, the bad press forced the band to cancel their scheduled performance. Her days with the Mamas and the Papas were coming to an abrupt end.